Hello everyone, we're back with another keynote suggestion on, this one is called Nonlinear presentations or nonlinear keynotes. This is going to be very similar to another one which is called links only. The difference is fairly subtle and I'll try to make it fairly explicit in the videos, but this is a nonlinear keynote. So what I have here is just a very basic keynote. I've added a title slide, I guess you could say, and in this title slide I've put different models of the atoms, and there are these little blue arrows because that means that those images are linked to something else. And you'll notice here I have below it different slides, and they kind of describe the different models that I had up there. And within each slide, notice there's a little building at the bottom. It's supposed to look like a little school or university, and that has another blue arrow, and that has a link. So let's kind of investigate these links and see what's happening here. So let me tap on one of these images and let me tap on link. Okay, so we go to link settings. You'll notice that this image is linked to a slide, and that slide is number 2. All right, so if I were to tap on this image, it would take me to slide number 2. And so slide number 2 is plum pudding model of the atom. So if I tap on this image, the first image, which happens to be the plum pudding model, you would get the plum pudding model of the atom. All right. So if we look at this next one, right? We look at the link settings here. You'll notice that this one is also linked to a slide, and it's linked to slide number 3. Okay. Well, we can probably guess then that this would be the Rutherford model of the atom because the second picture is linked to the Rutherford model slide. And the last picture is linked as well to the very last slide, which is the Bohr model. All right. Now, all of these little buildings have the identical links. Notice they are linked to slide number 1, okay? Because the whole point is that I'm able to kind of go through and look at these different pictures and see the information that's presented about each picture. But I need to be able to get back to the main image to look at another picture, right? Let me show you what I'm talking about. I think it'll make a little bit more sense. Whoops. Let me start at the beginning here. So I have this presentation. You'll notice the 3 different models of the atom. So I click on this, tap on this first one. Oops. I tap on this first one, sorry, and it takes me to the plum pudding model slide. And I can read about the plum pudding model. That's great, wonderful. But I need to get back there because I want to look at the other pictures and the other definitions. So I'm going to tap on the building. It'll take me back. Well, now I can click on or tap on, let's say, the last one if I wanted to. Now it would take me to the Bohr model of the atom and the description and everything like that. And I can tap on the building and get me back. So this is a way for students to present a large breadth of information about something and chunk it up into different categories. Okay. So I chose to have the pictures linked, but you could also just as easily have the words linked, and I'll show you how to do all of that in a second. So let's say I want to add something else. So I'm going to hit the plus button. I'm going to walk you through how to add these links like I did. So I'm going to go to my camera roll, and I'm going to go to, I have a bunch of sciencey ones somewhere. I have them. Here we go. Let's do this one, why not? Okay, so here I have another model of the atom. All right. Now, if I want to link this, I tap on the image. Oops. And I get a little menu that appears, and one of the options is link. Okay, and if I go there, I can do a couple of things. I can link it just to the next slide, so that would be to progress in the sequence normally. I can copy, I can remove link. I'm going to go to link settings here. So link settings, I can change this to several different things. So I'm just tapping on the link to. Instead of slide, it can be a web page. It could be an email address if at the end of the presentation you want them to email it to a certain address or email you if you have any questions. Or if you want that presentation to go to a specific website or anything like that, like let's say it's some sort of WebQuesty style thing, you can do that all through the presentation itself now. When I go to link to slide, because I haven't linked to a slide, here's where I can pick the specific slide that I want it linked to. Now I only have 4 in here, so I'd have to add all of my slides first and then put in my links afterwards. So I can't link to a slide that doesn't exist yet. So I would need to put in the definition and description of the atom model here and then link to it. All right. I can always link to previous slide, first slide, last slide, things like that. Or maybe I just want that link to exit my slideshow. Maybe I don't want them to be able to finish until they get the correct answer, let's say. And so they're not able to leave that slideshow until they get the correct link. Something that you do want to be a little bit careful of, I don't have things linked to the first slide. If you'll notice, when I come here to my buildings, these links always link to slide number 1. I specified number 1, not first slide. Because let's say I want to change something. You know, this is nice, but maybe it would be great to have a title slide, right? So I'm going to add a title slide. Oops, I'm going to drag it up to the front. There we go. And I'm going to say like atomic theory. Okay. So here's my first slide now. If I had linked all these buildings to the first slide, they would now all be linked to the atomic theory title. By linking them to a specific slide number, it's going to make it a lot easier, and it's going to make changes it's going to make small changes in the presentation a lot easier to do. For example, if you'll notice, these were originally linked to slide number 1, but now slide number 1 shifted down and became slide number 2 because I added the title. So all of my links automatically sense that and shift accordingly. Right? So all of my buildings, instead of linking to slide 1, which is the title, are now linking to slide 2, which is the correct slide. And all of these links and all of these pictures have changed as well after I added that title slide. Whereas if I had linked things to the first slide or to the last slide or the previous slide, things like that, those links I would now have to manually change. But by linking them all to a specific slide number, if that number changes, the links change as well. So now when I play this presentation, okay, atomic theory, I still tap and it still takes me to all of the correct links. All right, so this is a great portfolio program for students. It's a fair amount of work to create just because there's a lot of slides. So it's great for large projects and to organize a large amount of information around one centralized idea. All right, thank you very much and good luck.